Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and in a previous video I think I spoke too soon. I had mentioned that I really would like to do another dishwasher video, but I wasn't sure I was going to need to. As a DIYer, you tend to do things a couple of times if you're lucky. You figure it out on the first one, you do a good job on the second one, and then you never have to do it again in your life usually because stuff doesn't wear out as fast, although I'm finding that that might not hold true much longer. But anyway, friend got a new dishwasher, and I said, sure, I'll install it for you, no problem. But it turned out to be kind of a headache, and it developed a few things. One is an appreciation for widening my tools. Not that I need to get more, but looking elsewhere for solutions. Also, what I need on hand always, and maybe the design of a new tool. I'll show you that. So the first thing was this dishwasher was really low to the floor, and it was put in old plumbing. And anytime you're dealing with old plumbing, you almost don't want to touch anything unless you absolutely have to. So the pipes and the valves were pressed up against whatever the latest wall was. There was very little space under the dishwasher to try to get things. So that leads to the first tool here, and that is this. This is a Matco hose clamp tool. It's a flexible long reach one. This thing is great, absolutely wonderful. Unfortunately, this guy's $200 on the Matco site. There are a lot of less expensive ones that'll probably do the same thing. But anyway, I was looking under there. I tried to reach under there with pliers, and it was about the size of my arm, so I could go in underneath like this, and then I couldn't really do anything. And it was a real harsh metal one, spring-loaded clamp, and I needed to get that off in order to slide the dishwasher out because they had pulled a line through a wall. A drain line, and my other option was to cut the hose, and I wasn't sure what parts I wanted to destroy just yet. So anyway, I was able to feed this thing under there, get up underneath, way underneath, and just kind of press it against it, and then operate it, and then click it, and then I was able to wiggle this thing to try to move it off of the part of the receptacle that it was stuck to, and this was great. I mean, it took seconds to do, but without this, because I did try it with just pliers, I tried doing it by hand. I just thought I can't get in there. There's not enough room. I can't stand anything up. This was amazing. So if you've got one of these out in your garage, you're using it on vehicles. Well, if you're plumbing, keep an eye on it as well. Next thing was this turned out. This is a Malco 1/4 inch and 5/16. Obviously, I'm dealing with a bunch of screws and machine screws that have either 1/4 inch or 5/16 heads, but also things, like different kinds of hose clamps of different sizes. So this turned out to be just an outstanding setup for this. It's a little Vera ratcheting bit driver, but it's locking, which is important, especially if you're hanging on to things with some side pressure. Which you often are, because people put these things on, and then when they tighten them, they roll around just out of reach, and you're like pressing up against the top. In fact, this was a little too thick, but it was short enough I could get things working. However, I often wanted a bit, and I needed a slotted bit quite often, which was, I thought, strange, but not anything about this was normal. So I had one of these, but I decided I picked up another one. This is one of the Kleins. You can see it's still in the package, and I'll tell you why I'm showing you the package. But anyway, you can see the product number there. This is a 3-in-1 impact flip socket. So it's basically like this, as far as being able to flip this thing around, but with the 1/4 inch side, not all the way in, you can get a 1/4 inch bit to stay in it. So I could use this both to easily turn the hose clamps, the 1/4 inch ones, or flip it around for the, go ahead and put it in here, flip it around for the 5/16. So it was super handy where'd my Malco go, at this level, that I figured this would be even better. Now you can put a 1/4 inch bit in here, and it holds it, so it's close, but couple of times I dropped screws down the inside of doors, and there were these legs that had holes in them, so if the screw might fall down, ride the edge of the dishwasher right into this plastic leg. And I tried with magnets. There's still a screw in the dishwasher. It's not in anywhere that's going to cause any problems. But I could not get it out. I went in with pliers trying to reach it. I ended up putting a magnet on a string trying to get down there. I couldn't get it out. So anyway, the reason I'm showing you this one is because I noticed Lowe's online, well, Lowe's actually, and they are in stores, were selling these things with the bit, well, this exact thing here, for $3.97, down from $10. I don't know if that's a Black Friday thing, if they're closing it out, but this thing, essential. I think I'm going to get a bunch of these and just have them everywhere. You know that I love these 5/16 and 1/4 inch nut drivers, you know, especially for RVs, but also appliances. But to have this guy, a handy, you know, that's worth its weight in gold. So I want plenty of them, in the $3.97, definitely. But anyway, the third thing was, you know, you're dealing with stuff like this, and these are usually up against the wall, these pressure fitting or compression fitting hoses, and this is the one I took off. And if you look, it's all scuffed up, and the new one I put on is scuffed up, and here's the reason why. I had to use this. This was the only thing that easily worked. I tried this. Actually, I started, well, boy, let me go all the way back. These don't work. I tried those things. Thought this would be obvious. No way, because this shows you about how much working space I had, because this was a solution. So, yeah, even if I could get this on, I can't move it. So, tried a little bit smaller one. Of course, that didn't work. I was going to go down. I was going to use my new Proto, but it turns out that this is still way too long. I was able to do this by flipping it back and forth, and that's because there was enough, this was slim enough, and there was enough grip that I could barely hold on, you know, and I thought, that's great. This was about the same, honestly. It didn't make a huge difference, except these narrow jaws kept sliding off of the plier. I was just playing around trying, so you'd turn and then you just kept sliding off. It was hard to hold on. So I got this thing. Now, this did work. It was kind of a pain, you know, because I had to, it's really grippy, so I'd have to loosen it to try to get it on. But this is literally, and then it flips off like that, what I was doing, because there was enough room to do this, and that was it. And by doing this, it chewed this up a little bit, and it chewed my thumb up, because this is really like not designed for constant use. This is like to help it get on the bolt and then you go to town. I did try it originally. I thought, oh, here's the solution. I'll get my little flex head 3/8 drive Coke and socket that some of you notice I have out but I don't use. So here it is. And I thought, well, maybe I'd be able to use this somehow, or no, there absolutely no room. This was the extent of it. But here's my new tool idea. I want something with smooth jaws. Now, I know that's going to be a little tough. I don't know how good that is with this kind of a mechanism, but it would be fun to try it. I guess I could grind these down in this Matco one, or get a cheap one and grind it down and see if you can have smooth jaws. But I know other things do have smooth jaws, you know, that are in a hex, like, well, a wrench, or these guys. These have smooth jaws. So, you know, the angles change a little bit, but it would be nice if a couple of things. One, it had a really lightweight spring, or maybe even an adjustable spring. I don't know why you couldn't do that like an old bike brake or something, where you had a little Allen key turns to tension it to what you want, because this is really strong. I mean, you're getting your money's worth out of these Matcos. The second thing is to redesign this, not to put on a ratchet or a breaker bar or something, but to fit better in your hand if you can hold it somehow. Some other texturing or surface undulations that would fit, because literally I was trying to get it in and then push. So this would have to probably be down here somehow, or I don't know if there's a way, with a lower spring you could probably change that lever arm, but I'd like to have it further out, because it literally, if I could get it on there, it would slide off kind of the same as these guys did, but not as much. But if I could get that thing on there and then be able to just hold it and turn just a little bit. Wonderful. Obviously, people do use these on the ends of extensions and to reach up and do, say, under sink nuts, turning those for faucets, soap dispensers, things like that. But it's not really designed for it. Why not design one specific for it and get rid of those big old ones that we have? I mean, those do work on big things, but little tiny stuff. And I was also up against the wall, and this is something else, is because I could, you see this, if this is like right here, I can get a whole nother bite with this up against a wall. You know, it's usually, tell the good plumbers, they carve out a little hole first instead of letting the tool do it. But anyway, that's what I discovered doing this one. New tool, stock up on these, especially if they're on sale. And, oh yeah, it was things like this. This one I ended up not using, and I would have just scuffed that to pieces. The reason I didn't use it, there was not room. I couldn't spin this onto the pipe because there was a wall in the way. I'm going to go get an extension and do that later. You can buy little short pieces of this tubing. But I just thought that's going to be 2 more joints, and these things always leak after a while. But anyway, so there it is, the Matco hose clamp, extension flexible hose clamp tool. The Matco, I guess a big day for Matco. I also use Matco pry bars to pop off little caps and things like that. I guess I just accidentally filled my toolbox with Matco. But anyway, those are the things. Let me know your thoughts. And if you install appliances, maybe you've got a better solution than these things. That's just what I had to do just to get through the day. Anyway, with that, Doc out.